The next episode of the Charmer anime is... okay. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Game The Chronicles Spirit Charmers Episode 3 is meant to focus on Wynn the Wynn Charmer, and we start things off as everybody is back at the cabin, and we get to catch up on the situation with the turtle that Wynn was holding last episode. So this is actually a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card, that being Gora Turtle, and in a flashback we learn that apparently the turtle was injured after all the blasts that both Aussa and Hiita were firing at the giant boulder to try to move it, so that is when Wynn took it back to the cabin and tried to nurse it back to health. So now everything's all fine and dandy again as Eria was able to heal it, so they all decide to take kind of an off day from the trials. While Aussa is training Hiita to better control her fire magic, Wynn and Eria end up playing with all the familiars as well as Gora Turtle, so we get a cute little montage showing them playing around the forest, and there are some still images that scroll by, but here we also sort of get a reference to one of the artworks of the token cards, and that basically ends off their day, as they're all still talking about the Gora Turtle, figuring that it's separated from its family, so Wynn hopes to reunite them. The next day back in the temple, both Hiita and Aussa aren't having any luck moving the boulder, and Wynn and Eria were not able to find Gora Turtle's parents, but both solutions solve each other as, as soon as I saw the turtle come in, I'm like, oh gosh, wait, I know exactly what's gonna happen. It turns out that the giant boulder wasn't actually a boulder and was instead the turtle mother, so it wakes up and comes out and takes a little baby with it, and they walk off into the sunset, so problem solved and they get to progress through the trial. But I guess it is sort of interesting seeing as that is part of the trial, and once again was sort of something that Wynn was able to excel in, that being the fact that she took the time to slow down and sort of investigate things and care for the Gora Turtle that had gotten injured, connecting with nature and also kind of taking things a little slowly, though maybe if they would have listened to her last time they were there and she noticed the markings were strange, and maybe if she would have spoken up about the turtle they would have figured it out then. But for the moment that is basically the episode, and I think it's an okay episode, sort of a middle between the two episodes that started off the story and the final one coming next month, and when you take all the episodes and put them all together, I'm sure it's going to be a nice little story. But I know for sure anybody who isn't a fan of the series calling it a big nothing burger, this episode might give them a little more fuel. I at least understand the purpose of this being just a fun little side thing, and I think having lower stakes with the Spirit Charmers is okay, especially after we wrapped up the Fallen and the Virtuous, or at least the first part of it. And I do enjoy the fact that with this series we get to bring in other weird monsters like Gora Turtle, but ultimately the purpose of this storyline is all fan service, and not necessarily in that way, but more so showcasing some fan favorite Yu-Gi-Oh monsters. I guarantee all Charmer fans didn't want a big epic story or anything, they just wanted to see all of them being happy and hanging out together, which is exactly what we're getting with this story. But yeah, I will say that so far this might be one of my least favorites, at least of the Spirit Charmers. We all know that the Sky Striker episodes were much worse, but I think it was definitely necessary in the grand scheme of things, obviously building out the different aspects that the trial itself is meant to test, and also giving some character moments and a bit of development to Wynn as well. So overall I think this was a good fine episode, but I'm really excited to see the final one next month, and also really interested to see if we'll be getting more episodes of the Card Game Chronicles in the next year. But for the moment, let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe and hype up the video, all that cool YouTube stuff. But anyway, this is GatorX, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you all later.